Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on creating arched roofing or barrel roofs for 3D printing using free software I call generators. The goal of this tutorial is to introduce you to the capabilities of this generator and to explain the function of the various options. Just as a reminder, my generators are available for downloading at my website, http://dackm.github.io. Right below my introduction there is a table of contents, and in the entry on Automating CAD is a link to download a zip file containing all the executable files. Before discussing the generator, we need to make a few assumptions. We will assume that you have successfully downloaded the generator's zip file, extracted the executables, virus scanned them, and launched the arch roofing generator. We will also assume you have learned how to post-process the SCAD files through the OpenSCAD program to create stereo lithography files. If either of these assumptions is not correct, please watch the tutorial on creating a basic building where these concepts are introduced. As a reminder, the default values of all parameters represent good starting values, and if you are new to a generator, I recommend starting out by just clicking on the green Generate button to see how things work. The green button will ask you for a location to store the SCAD file, which contains 3D instructions to create your desired object. And to terminate the generator, just click on the red Exit button. The maroon and blue buttons load and save the configuration parameters respectively, and the orange button restores the default values. Let's start with the simple options first. How wide do you want your roof to be, and how tall in millimeters? We have options for that in the upper left. If the width is exactly twice the height, then the roof line will appear to be circular, but it need not be so. If the height is greater than half the width, the roof will appear to be stretched vertically. And if the height is less than half the width, the roof will appear stretched horizontally. Regardless of the ratio of width to height, the slope of the roof at the edges will be vertical. Two other simple design parameters are the roof depth, which is how long the roof will be front to back, and the wall thickness, which is pretty self-explanatory. One of the reasons that I created an arched roofing generator was to model greenhouses, which often look as if they are created from translucent plastic and which often have vertical walls from the ground up to the arched roof. And that is what the wall height controls. Instant greenhouse. The same concept could create a barn. And since this type of structure almost always seems to be supported by some sort of skeleton, the spine count control lets us specify the number of ribs we want to use to support the roof. But for a machine shop or other small manufacturing building, you can leave the spine count set to 0 to emulate a swabbed tar-coated look. It's all up to you. Probably the most difficult concept is that of the chord width. Earlier we mentioned that the slope of the arch is vertical at the edges, but this need not necessarily be what we want. The chord width slices off the bottom of the arch, resulting in a narrower, shallower roof, which does not terminate with vertical side edges. This is kind of an experiment and repeat feature, but can yield some interesting and useful roof profiles, especially for structures built around the Great Depression. I struggled with how the vertical ends of an arched roofed building should appear. First I thought something like a dome would look interesting. More about that later. But I finally decided that a vertical wall, probably flat or board and batten, would look best. My basic building generator already had the capability to create such walls, So I decided what I needed was not a wall feature in this generator, but a mask feature, which would take a wall and round off the upper corners to match the outline of the roof arch. The wall and the mask could be combined easily in Tinkercad, and that is the approach I took. Here I am going to create a roof mask for the default arched roof, which is 100 millimeters wide and 50 millimeters tall. Simple. After processing through OpenSCAD, I am going to import the resulting STL file for the mask into Tinkercad, and also import a board and batten wall. Here the wall is the same height and width as the end of the arched roof, but could be taller if side walls of the roof were non-zero. Let's turn the mask into a hole into Tinkercad, align its center and top with the wall, and group them. How cool is that? When I print the corresponding arched roof and align the ends, like magic, everything fits. The demo we just saw worked with a flat end cap, but the technique also could have been employed with a four-walled basic building. We just would need to adjust the depth of the mask to cover the entire building before grouping. Even if the building was taller than the mask, we just need to align the tops to make the mask cover only the upper floor. But there is a nuance. Should the resulting wall be sized to slip inside the roof, or be slightly larger to align with the outside of the roof line? I could not decide, so I created a control to let you decide how you wanted your building to look. If your building has sidewalls generated with the basic building software, you will be better off using the internal option. If you are determined to use the external option, do so only if the arched roof goes all the way to the ground and the end caps are totally flat east or west pieces of the basic building. External ends with the side walls are possible, but the mathematics is beyond what I want to cover in this tutorial. When creating your walls, don't forget you can use Tinkercad to add holes for doors and windows to your end caps, and maybe others for heaters or exhaust fans to control the interior temperature. The delight is in the details. I liked the masking option so much, I almost decided to delete the end cap feature, but in the end I decided to keep it, not so much for the end of a building, but for the end of a canopy. The result is a quarter sphere. When combined with pillars and purlins from the flat roofing generator, it might have a place as an entrance to an upscale restaurant or hotel. That's it, the arched roofing generator in a nutshell. I hope you enjoy the program and find many uses for it. Have fun!